My name is Phylis Pinnock. I was born in St. Anne, Golden Grove, Jamaica. I came to Canada on the second day of December 1955 when there was 8 inches of snow on the ground and no winter boots. It was very terrifying. But anyhow, 2 good people came and took me home to their home and treated me like a daughter.
Can we go back to your time in Jamaica? How you grew up in Jamaica?
Well, I grew up, I left school when I was 18 and I started working for the Reynolds Mines at a weaving center where I used to do making skirts and doilies and all those things we used to do at the weaving center in Claremont, Jamaica. After that closed down, and I started working for a geologist who is an American who came to work for the Reynolds mine and took care of his daughter. And while I was there, I saw this advertisement in the paper about domestic girls going to Canada. So I cut it out and I ran to my parents and said, look at this, there is a place you can go to Canada. So I sent in an application to the ministry in Jamaica, and by the Friday of that weekend, I got a letter from the ministry in Jamaica to say I should come in by Saturday for an interview. I said, what? So I told my mother, and she said, okay, I'll go with you. And I went in, and they interviewed me, and they said, oh, you're fit for Canada, because I knew a lot about the electrical equipments and things that they asked me, cooking and preparing your clothes and ironing and all these things. I was very qualified. So from then, it take me about 2 weeks to get prepared to come here. I don't know where the money was coming from, but I prayed hard. And one Friday night, my dad just come in and say, here is the money. Yes, he gave me the amount of money and I took it to the ministry and paid my fare. And I was able to come here. Yeah, I came in a group with other girls. I don't remember how many of us, but there was quite a few of us. For the group that I came in was 75 of us on the plane. Yeah. We landed in Montreal. We stayed in a hostel for a few days. Then they transfer us by train to Ottawa. And my boss, Mr. David McKean, came and met me there and took me home. And he was like a dad to me. He go out and buy me winter clothes and all that underwear. He didn't care what it was. He said, you have to wear these. And the wife gave me a nice fur coat. Yes, they treated me very good.
So can you tell us about a typical day in the house, your work day with your employer?
A work day? Well, sometimes Mrs. Pierce will come over and sleep overnight. And I'll get a note in the morning to say, Mrs. Pierce is in the guest room. That means I must prepare a tray for her and what she must have for breakfast and all that. But it didn't bother me. I know what was to prepare for her, and she'll eat and go about her business. But the children, they were very, very, very good to live with. They always try to trick me though. One son would come and say, "Well, Phyllis, my friend is coming over to play guitar tonight." And one played the guitar, one played the piano. And there were two guitar players. And I said, okay, but our pay is some cookies. So I have to make them a batch of cookies. For Mrs. Pearson, it was especially shortbread. I have to make her shortbread cookies so that when she eat, it just melt in her mouth. And my boss was very pleased with it. It always suited her. And when Christmas time, they were big entertainers. For I used to entertain Prime Minister Pearson, all the prime ministers, and a lot of other friends from Parliament Hill used to come for Christmas Eve party. And I used to cook all the food for them. I could just cook it and leave it on the stove, and they help themselves when they finish their party. Yeah. They always take care of me. If they call and said, "I'm bringing over somebody for supper," Mr. McKean always say, "Put another sausage on." But then, whether what I'm cooking, I'll just add something to it. And there, he brought me a gift. The wife would do the same thing too, as a thank you. When I was going to get married, she drove her station wagon to Sears and buy all the decoration. She said, "Just tell John to come and hang them up." They had 4 children, but they were adults, like one was married and the other 3 were still going to school. They were like brothers and sisters to me. They tried to make me as happy as they could, playing music and everything after supper at night. So long I give them a bunch of cookies. I have to make cookies regular for the musicians. But we get along beautifully. After 2 years, I decided to get married, and they offered me their home for the reception. By then I had joined the Ottawa Dominion Church and was singing on the choir. And I had 100 guests for my wedding, which was held in my boss's home. They asked me, where did you meet so much people? I said, in church. And that was a wonderful time. My husband came over and all he did was hang the decorations in the home, and we had a beautiful wedding.
Your wedding was in the papers.
Yes, my wedding was advertised in the Ottawa Citizen. And we went to Montreal for our honeymoon and everything. We came back and lived in Ottawa until now. I haven't moved anywhere else. But I love Ottawa. It's nice and quiet.